Evidence that could catch a rapist is sitting on storage shelves in Chattanooga right now.
And no one is testing it, and some of this evidence goes all the way back to 1993. A 2-month investigation by Channel 3 producer Beth Berger and reporter Dan Kennedy uncovered nearly 200 untested evidence kits between the Chattanooga Police and Hamilton County Sheriff's Departments.
Well, the state will do a DNA test on these kits free of charge, but some detectives wait months before sending off evidence in rape cases.
In a story you'll see only on 3, Dan Kennedy pushes for answers.
If someone is raped, they don't always go to the police immediately. The experience is obviously very traumatic, but as long as that victim comes forward within 4 days, there can be enough evidence to make an arrest. You hear about the rape kit we talk about. Well, this is an example of one. This is the forensic testing. Inside, you open it up. It has some paperwork that all the nurses will fill out. It has some swabs, and it holds other evidence like clothes or bed sheets, anything you want to send in. And everything in that box could be key to catching the rapist if the detective follows through.
And then this is our exam room.
At Chattanooga's Rape Crisis Center, specially trained nurses like Amy Griffin are available around the clock. They completed 90 rape kits in this room alone last year.
We can collect it and we can say we will seal it, lock it away, and no one will ever even know you are here unless you give us written permission to release that to law enforcement.
Because it's pretty invasive taking.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's not an easy exam to take, you know, but it's well worth getting it done.
Chattanooga Police Lieutenant Glenn Scruggs handles major crimes like homicides and rapes. CPD has 99 untested rape kits sitting on the evidence room shelves, some dating back more than 15 years. The sheriff's departments are even older. Of those, CPD claims only 4 need testing. The sheriff's department would not answer our questions.
I mean, it's a big problem everywhere. I mean, I don't think there's a lab, you know, a TBI type lab in the country that isn't suffering from some sort of backlog.
A 2-month-long Channel 3 investigation revealed the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department has 104 untested kits. Cleveland has 55, and Memphis almost 7,000 untested rape kits.
The public expects that we're going to do things accurately and thoroughly, and that's what we're committed to doing. It does not move quickly. This work takes a lot of time.
Channel 3 went directly to the TBI crime lab in Nashville for answers. Spokesman Josh Devine says the process is painstaking, with about a dozen qualified testers to handle a backlog of 20,000 kits. Each analysis can take hours. Getting them there is another problem. You cannot send evidence through the mail, so an officer drives a rape kit to TBI's headquarters in Nashville, where a forensic scientist like Kendall Stoner tests it.
It's just not as simple as putting one sample on a machine and then 30 minutes later it prints off something. We have to do things. Usually these processes take hours.
Hours and sometimes months. The DNA goes into a software program called CODIS that can match the DNA to one of 12 million potential suspects.
It's usually 7 to 13 months to get a kit back. And so, yeah, it's disheartening to a victim, but it's disheartening to us too.
The process is long, but Devine doesn't want that to stop local detectives.
Send us your kits, we'll get them taken care of, and wipe the slate clean.
There could be a number of reasons why those 99 untested kits CPD only needs to test 4. Perhaps the victim decided to never press charges, or they knew the attacker already. Or perhaps a suspect was never developed and the statute of limitations has passed. But testing these kits might help identify suspects who have assaulted more than one person. In fact, research shows as many as 90% of rapes are committed by serial rapists. In the studio, Dan Kennedy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Coming up at 6 in Part 2, what's being done about the backlog and why the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department recently destroyed most of its untested kits. To read an in-depth version of this story, check out Beth Berger's article on WRCBTV.com or read it on your phone in the WRCB app. At 5 this afternoon, we told you about the backlog of untested rape kits across Tennessee.
A Channel 3 investigation uncovered 99 untested kits at the Chattanooga Police Department, 104 at the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, and 55 at the Cleveland Police Department. Channel 3 investigative producer Beth Berger and reporter Dan Kennedy explore what's being done to help the backlog.
Help may come from Manhattan. The district attorney there is offering up to $2 million in grant money to help agencies across the U.S. Channel 3 has learned Hamilton County District Attorney Neil Pinkston wants to test every kid in our area. But the Chattanooga Police Department disagrees. And because law enforcement makes that final decision, some evidence will continue collecting dust.
This is a backlog of untested kits that are currently sitting in evidence rooms across the state of Tennessee in law enforcement departments.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation does not charge law enforcement departments anything to test the evidence collected after a rape allegation. But thousands of rape kits go untested, sitting on evidence shelves across the state.
Throughout history, Tennessee law enforcement departments collected these sex assault kits and then for one reason or other decided that they did not need to be sent for immediate analysis.
The kits must be hand-delivered. For that reason, the Chattanooga Police Department waits sometimes a month to collect several kits before sending them to Nashville with an officer. Channel 3 went to Nashville to see the lab and learned it can take 5 months to do a DNA test here. The faster CPD gets it here, the faster the results. Because they wait so long to drive it here, results can take more than a year.
It doesn't nail it down as perfectly as you might be led to believe. You know, the testing is done, and then there's this long timetable between us getting it back. So that's just the system we're working with.
CPD tells Channel 3 it audited the 99 untested kits, and against the wish of the district attorney, will not send all evidence kits to Nashville. In one case, a victim died. In 18 cases, there's been an arrest without DNA testing. And the audit found more than half are unfounded, meaning there's not enough evidence that the rape ever occurred. A department spokesperson says those kits likely won't ever be tested. That leaves only about 4 kits that could hold the key to solving an unsolved rape case.
If the TBI would say, hey, send us everything you got, I think the city would hire, U-Haul to get that stuff done. We'd hire a cop to drive it up there. I'm pretty sure that would happen.
At the end of the day, if we have the resources available and the funding in place, we will make sure that Tennessee's law enforcement departments know if you want to clear your evidence vaults and send us those kits, we'll go ahead and test them.
As for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, officials there say they recently got a court order to destroy 80 of their 104 untested kits, and they're awaiting permission to destroy all but 7 more. By the way, starting in just a few weeks, the Chattanooga Police Department is forming a Special Victims Unit, or SVU. It will handle all sexual assaults starting June 8th. In the studio, Dan Kennedy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
If you want to read an in-depth version of this story, check out producer Beth Berger's article on WRCBTV.com or read it on your phone in the WRCB app. More than 24 rape kits, which were recently destroyed after a court order from a now retired judge. And the district attorney says that should never have happened.
Last month, Channel 3 brought you a 2-part investigation into local untested rape kits. New tonight, we learned the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department destroyed some of its untested kits and has plans to destroy more. Here's Dan Kennedy with a follow-up to our investigation.
In October, the Sheriff's Department sent 25 rape kits off to an out-of-state incinerator to reduce the nearly 80 pieces of evidence to ashes. 2/3 of those had never been tested for DNA. The district attorney says those kits should never have been destroyed. And soon there will be a change in policy after a Channel 3 investigation. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Department has been asking courts for permission to clear its shelves, arguing a lot of the cases were unfounded.
It could be unfounded, meaning that it was a case where there was no basis to the complaint. It was a falsified report. It could be that there's no evidence to move the case forward and that we've held the evidence for a period of time and they've decided to go ahead and destroy it.
Captain Bill Johnson says an investigator decides when it's time to get rid of evidence, then gets a judge to sign the paperwork. That's what happened in October when a sergeant submitted this order for destruction of property, attaching a 3-page list detailing the evidence. Things like clothes, pillows, and DNA swabs, plus 25 rape kits. Recently retired Hamilton County Judge Rebecca Stern signed off on the order. But Channel 3 has learned Stern signed that October order, and there's now question whether she even had that authority. You see, the statute reference in that request covers destroying drugs, not destroying other types of evidence.
Anytime you're requesting something of the court, you cite the correct legal authority that gives you the power to do or ask to do what you're trying to do.
District Attorney General Neil Pinkston says these kits should never have been destroyed under this statute about destroying drugs. Now he wants to make sure no more kits are destroyed in his district without a new written policy.
We're going to work with them to try and come up with some guidelines or protocols under that new law that exists to avoid things like this in the future.
Right now, we're not destroying any kits until we get further guidance, because we know change is coming.
Johnson says looking back, the department would still have destroyed the kits because they followed protocol at the time, a protocol that is now changing. The department has more kits it once destroyed, but for now, that's on hold by request of the DA. In the studio, Dan Kennedy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And to read a more in-depth version of the story, including a quote from Judge Stern, read producer Beth Berger's story at WRCBTV.com.